She puts theirs right.
Unmute. Hi.
Hello. Like, nope, there's no volume yet.
Okay.
Okay.
It's Tuesday.
It is.
It's
How about that?
been Tuesday all day.
All day and all night.
And all night, yes.
Yep.
Quick day.
It is all of a sudden 3:30. I feel like we have gotten nothing done.
No,
We keep trying. So
we cut a fabric.
we did. We got one piece of fabric. Nope, we got 2 bolts chosen.
Yes.
And 1 piece cut
For the block
for
of the
block
month.
of the month. So we are just cruising right along out of what 30 some odd
Yeah, it's a lot.
blocks, or I'm not blocks, colors that
Yeah.
we're supposed to have in this quilt.
We are definitely.
We are certainly trying. It's
Yes, but we're not making a lot of headway.
We're not, but that's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. Hello.
Hi, Barb. We can see your comment, but I can't.
That's really interesting.
See the comment here.
Wonder where that's coming in from.
Yeah. Well,
Hi.
hopefully.
Don't have a clue what's going on there.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay.
But yeah, so we are plugging away. We are hoping to get everything finalized here in the next few, hopefully days, not a few weeks, because we're going to be completely out of time if it takes that long. So hopefully within the next couple of days, we will get January and February and March at least
Yes.
finalized so that we can get those prepped and ready to go.
Yeah, and if you've been on the fence, we have only 4 spaces left.
Yes, we can only cut 60 total kits. So that's where we're at. So there's very, very few spots left. And if you are not aware of what we are talking about, there is a block of the month for 2023. It will be both embroidery and traditional machine applique. So it doesn't matter what
Kind of machine.
kind of sewing and or embroidery that you do, we have something available for you to participate in this block of the month. So it's going to be really cool. You can get introduced to some new things and some new
Techniques.
maybe techniques and fabric types and some new fun things to do. And again, we only have 4 spots left.
Yeah, it should be
So
fun.
It should be. We're really excited. We're
excited
maybe
to get
a
started.
little stressed of
Starting
between
and stopping.
everything going on and then of course, oh, there it
sewing.
popped up.
Yeah, there it is.
That's really funny.
Slightly
Slightly
delayed.
delayed. But yeah, so we're super excited. We just, between being sick and then Novi and all this craziness that's going on.
Right.
But you know what else I'm super excited about? Which I wasn't excited about until I actually made it.
The couching letters.
Well, that was one. Actually, I was excited about that because
No, I know what you mean. The vintage flora class.
the vintage flora.
Oh yeah.
So
Watch me fall off the chair.
I kind of pushed off on lovely Carolyn a previous version of these. So when the clutch originally came out, the design, I was like, yeah, that's not really my thing. Carolyn, why don't you do that sample? And she did. And she was like, yeah, that's not really super simple. But I think I need to look up the old quote unquote instructions. This is done 100% in the hoop for the embroidery portion.
Except for adding
until you add the actual clasp portion. And so I was dreading it based on what I've heard about putting these clasps on. And I got to tell you, it went on super simple. So I was very, very excited.
I made this one.
So we are doing Vintage Flora as a virtual event this coming Saturday.
It is.
So it's coming right up. So we
still have a few kits.
we split it up. So I took home this kit and I made this
complicated
little
one.
guy. And Sarah took home this adorable little guy. So it is super cute. It's got one of the lace zippers, and it's great for like
Your headphones. Yeah.
It shows like little earbud type things to go in there. Of course, you could use it as a change purse or
Yeah,
whatever
whatever.
in your purse. But it's super cute, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I was a little nervous, like, you know, as I'm videoing it, I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? It actually worked a lot better than I anticipated. So I now have one under my belt, so I feel confident in helping you guys make these too. So if you haven't already signed up and you are interested in doing so, you have the choice of this design or a different embroidery. So the other one had a lot of pink in it, and I'm sure it doesn't surprise you at all that I did not want to stitch that one. So I stitched this one. So I did this little guy here, but you actually get a choice of this or another for the event itself. And then you get the materials to stitch that as well. So those are the two projects. It's just a quick, it says up to 4 hours. I think it's probably going to be a little less than 4 hours, but maybe, who knows? Somewhere between 3 and 4 though, probably. And you can purchase that right on our website. So it's called Vintage Flora, and it is called a Spark event. So go pink, if you say so. All right. And to answer Pam's question, so we are doing Demo December.
And maybe while we're stitching our border, we can explain it more.
Yes. So we're going to have some stitch time.
Yes,
as
but we
it
are
is,
doing it.
Stitching out, you know, so as we go through the next hour-ish, we will give you all of those details too. So, but the answer, Miss Pam, is yes, we are doing Demo December. We have the dates now set. We did get that done this weekend. We got that figured out. I will add that to the store's calendar. It's on my list of things to do. And we do have the kits got cut today, so we were packaging them, and we are really, really close to actually getting that up live on the site. We're close, almost there.
Almost there.
Probably tomorrow, Carolyn can finish stuffing those little guys and getting it all ready to go, and then we can put it live.
Yes.
So hopefully by tomorrow we'll have all of that
It's
out.
live, but it says it's sold out because we're not ready to sell them. So I'm getting smarter in my old age. I put the listing up, and then I will add the stock. Instead of just putting the stock in and then people being upset when it doesn't ship right away.
It doesn't ship right away.
Yes.
So there you go. So
Borders.
Kimberbell
Cuties.
So we did the pieces and walked you through the steps. So Kimberbell Cuties, you have a center something. So right now we have 3 choices. There will be a volume 2 of Cuties too.
Or volume 3.
I don't know what it's going to be. If it's going to be a 2B or not 2B. I don't know. Maybe. It'll be 2B or it will not 2B.
That is the question.
It will be a question. Yes, there you go. So this is the deck of cards design. On the other, I did the Lazy Daisy, I think is what they called it, on our store sample that we do already have finished. This is option 2. There's one more, which is an orange peel. We don't have an orange peel right behind us anymore. It's on the corners of spring showers. So I really like that design as well. So I'm following directions.
It's hard.
Trying. It's really, really hard. But anyway, so we did this. You're going to stitch 4 of these, and that will be your center. So this one, these little points here are going to all line up. So you will have all of the squares lining up to one another for this one here. And so that is how that goes. And then you are going to stitch 4 of these, and that is going to be the corner blocks. And in our kit, you can see the shine portion there. We have some really pretty clear glitter vinyl, and we made this much simpler than the instructions. on our kits. So if you purchased our kit to make this, it's just lay over, once you have the applique done with the colors, you're just going to put that one piece of vinyl over it, and then you can change threads, but you don't have to cut in between each time. So just cut one time. So much easier than having all of these sharp points and whatnot. So way, way faster and so much easier to stitch as well. Isn't that darling?
Fortunately, cannot confirm that when Hayden was cutting the kits that he made all of them large.
Oh.
He may have cut individual pieces.
Oh.
So
okay. That's true, because we didn't cut the kits.
We did not.
And I don't know what the instructions said.
I know for sure that the ones that I cut, I
Look
just
like this.
Made a large. I just combined it together
Very
instead
fair.
of cutting little ones.
So you just never know.
Right.
So there you go. So we have our corner blocks and we have our center blocks. Now we need to talk about the borders in between. So if you want to flip to this camera here real quick.
We talked a little bit last week about the borders and how ours really drew in. Yes.
Quite a bit.
So we want to talk today about what we think is the better choice, and then
how to do these, guys.
Yes, yes.
So you are going to have two different border sets that you're going to need to do. You have an interior one here, which is about I think it says 1 3/4 stitch, and then you'll have the outside ones that are a 2 1/2, if I remember right.
Seems
right. So those are going to be the sizes that you will need to stitch. What we really want to stress is don't cut everything down to the individual size. So don't cut this piece, and so on and so forth. What we want you to do,
which is what the instructions
tell you to do right there at the beginning of the page. It's going to say you need a 1 3/4 by 10 inch and a 1 3/4 by, or whatever it is. I don't have that in front of me, but it's going to tell you need 2 of these and 2 of these and so on and so forth. Don't do that. Cut a width of strip at that with the fabric at that 1 3/4, and then stitch the whole length of that. And then once they're stitched, cut them into the lengths that they need to go into the Cuties itself.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to be like, and it won't fit.
And if you've done some of the Kimberbell quilts where you sort of bump them up and you use the batting, and a lot of times we don't have batting in our seam allowance, these particular designs were not specifically designed so that they aren't exactly the right size. So it's not like you don't have an 11-inch
no, they
border
didn't match.
piece.
If you purchase the quilting patterns to go with the Cuties, the squares and the triangles are exactly what you need. But the borders are, you get a 10 and a 12 or so on, and you get these multiple length designs, but it doesn't give you an 11 and a 13, which is the sizes that they need, or 10 and a 12, whatever.
Right.
It didn't match exactly with what you needed, which was odd. I was surprised when I went to stitch them. I was like, well, that's interesting. Okay. But I mean, it works. It's just not quite what I was anticipating.
Right.
So all of that being said, what we have is a I don't remember whatever the heck this is, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 2 1/2, something or other.
Hopefully it's
width of fabric strip. So I literally have my salvages here, and we are just going to literally start at one end and keep going.
Yes.
We're only going to probably do 2 hoopings because we want to make sure you guys understand how to connect, but you would keep going.
Yes.
IRL,
through the entire,
right?
yes,
In real life, you would actually just keep going.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to do that. In my hoop, I have a 7 by 12 hoop here. We can just put in your no-show mesh. That's going to be the lightest weight cutaway. It's going to give you the support that you need for stitching, but it's not going to add all of the bulk and the weight in that a heavier cutaway would put in there. So that is your go-to. You do not need a fusible, so don't put the money into there unless that's the only thing that you have.
Yeah. And you could potentially put both sizes of your borders in at the same time.
You
and
could put them next to
right
one
next
another.
to each other if you have a hoop that is large enough.
Absolutely.
We did not do that this time.
Nope. We're just going to show you how this all
goodness,
works.
so sorry.
So let's go to the sewing machine. And here we have...
It's like magic.
I know. Isn't it fantastic? Oh, you okay?
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was the chair.
Oh, thank goodness.
That was not my
'cause
knee this time.
There's a sharp corner right over there. That would not have felt well. We've got a standard embroidery bobbin in. And I have, actually, it's a really pale yellow, like super pale yellow. So when I put the fabric in, you'll be able to see the stitches. I didn't want to put a really ugly color in. I just can't, I can't make it ugly. I'm sorry. That I can't do, but I can put in a color that you would at least be able to see. So first thing that's going to happen is a placement line for batting.
She's asking about the snowmen people in the corners. I don't think it's fringe, is it?
No.
Yeah, it's not. There is not fringe on the hat, ear, scarf of the January snowman.
No, it's just a super cute stitch.
Yeah.
But no, it's just regular embroidery. It's regular embroidery that looks like fringe.
You have you have a collection.
I
of
have
scissors.
a collection.
Hopefully you
I
should have
don't
something.
know. One of these three is going to work. I don't know which ones, but so I just cut some strips of batting that was laying around. This is the same batting that we used on our corner and center blocks, so we'll have the same depth everywhere. It's a little long, but you know, it's what was there. You could have this already cut into the size of your strip, but I didn't do that.
We can trim
But
it.
you could, and then you
Yeah.
could put a little glue on your stabilizer, a little bit of fabric glue, you know, like a glue stick,
Yeah.
to keep everything in place if you were looking to cut a little bit of time out of this step. Borders are not difficult once you've done them a few times, but they are definitely a little bit time consuming. There's a few steps to be had here. So, but they're not difficult. And the more you do them, the easier they get, of course, just like anything else. And we'll do some trimming here in just a sec.
So it goes around 2 times. That makes it easier so that you don't actually clip into the stitches when you're trimming the batting off.
Yep. What goes around comes around.
What goes around comes around.
All right. So now
You're just full of fun.
I really need to get more sleep in my life. Get a little slap happy, right?
It's just bootylicious for you today.
It's something to that effect. Yes, ma'am.
So she's just using her favorite double curve scissors. We almost had some really pretty ones to show you today.
Almost.
Not quite yet. But this will help her get up close to that batting because you really want to get close to it. You don't want to snip
You don't want
through
it in the seam.
But snip it as close as you can.
All right, so there we go.
Ta-da!
Back over here. And that top screw is just hitting my foot. All right, so this next guy is going to show us where to place the fabric. And this is one of those stitches I actually generally do stitch. A lot of times placement lines I'll skip over because I know where something goes, but this one does matter. So I do pay some attention.
Pam is asking, will one strip be long enough to go all the way around the outside, or do you need 2 strips? You will need 2 strips.
You will need 2 strips, but you won't need 2 complete strips. Yep.
You will, however many you were supposed to cut, it's cut this many and then you subcut them. You will need those before you basically subcut, which will be 2 strips for the outside and 1 for the inside.
All right, so this is I really like this fabric.
I know we really like it, don't we?
I really do. I keep trying to put it in this quilt that we're doing. It just doesn't work.
This is going to be the border fabric for our demo December.
It is. You guys will get this if you do demo December with us. So this is the 2.5, I think is what it is, wide, and it fits right inside of there. So that is the goal. What you want to do on your first piece is have your fabric up and over the edge. It calls for a 1/4 inch up there. I usually put just a hair extra and then trim it when I'm done. So I usually give it just a little bit extra. A lot of times I'll leave my selvage up there, and that's kind of my extra in there. And then I do the unthinkable.
She tapes.
I actually tape that top piece in place.
It helps so that you can kind of tug on it a little bit.
Because I don't tape anywhere else. So if you are following along in the instructions from Kimberbell for borders, it's going to also have you kind of give a little tug on the fabric and then tape down here at the bottom. I don't do that. What I do is I give it a little tug and then I hold at the bottom.
And honestly, this is one of the reasons why they shrink up. So if you tug this too much.
Yeah, you don't want to like stretch it out because then it's going to rebound back and you're going to have some issues.
So you want it to be flat.
You want to make sure that you don't have any big bumps.
Yes.
And you want to make sure that you are
straight
in the, there we go.
Yes, and border fabrics, especially if they have not been pre-starched.
I just assumed that they were already done. And
right. They will substantially shrink in because the width of the fabric, that is where you have the most stretch. So they will definitely shrink in. This is when I was cutting like border pieces around blocks. This is when I first discovered that was the primary issue of my whole world. Yes, I would cut it like 11 inches and then I would press it and it was 10.5. And I was like,
wait a second.
I was so careful. So
what just happened?
Those are 2 of the things that will definitely increase your chance of these border pieces shrinking in. Tugging too tight and not having these pre-shrunk.
So ways to do that in case you're like, okay, that sounds really great, ladies, but what does that mean?
Yep.
Spray
with
and press.
Yes, you could spray it with regular water if you wanted to, but if I
generally would use best press.
Yes, if I'm gonna spray it with water, I want it to be stiff.
Yes, because we like our things that way.
We do.
All right. So all of that being said, what's going to happen now is the next step is it's just a tack down stitch right close to the edges, which is supposed to help everything stay in position while the quilting is being done. And the idea of this stitch is though it's going to stay there, we don't have to remove it because it's in the seam allowance. So you can just leave it there, which is very nice because who likes to unsew, right? I mean, that's just no fun. So this is going to do that. I generally kind of watch, and then if my fabric starts to shift, I kind of try to ooch and scooch it as my stitch is going down. And then it's going to go back up the other side. It's not uncommon for this side to be farther in than the other, unfortunately.
Yep, I would say that's truth.
And then I am generally
They
smoothing.
can't see
I
anything
know,
but
I'm
your
sorry. I'm trying to smooth it. I know. So I'm doing this
There you go.
on the other side.
She's petting it.
All right, I do. I pet the fabric as the second side is being placed to, 1, make sure that I don't get a big ripple somewhere, and 2, to make sure that I'm getting the fabric as far over here as possible, because it is not uncommon at all for this first stitch to pull it a little bit over, and then you don't have the fabric as far to the right as you need it. So I do generally just, as you were saying, I pat my fabric and just make sure that it's lying nice and flat and it's getting tacked down to the best of its ability down to that right side. All right. So at this point, we are now going to do quilting. And I did I think this is the orange peel.
It is the orange
the
peel. It's
orange
cute.
peel quilting. So, like I said, I really like
the orange.
this. Doesn't match our. Well, I guess it doesn't
does.
really matter.
Yeah.
I didn't pick anything, so. But I would, of course, choose this if you were doing orange peel center.
For sure.
For sure, absolutely. So again, this is just a really pale yellow, but it actually kind of looks like
It almost looks
the
like
color
white.
of
Yeah.
the fabric.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is funny how that happens. So while this is stitching, we can talk a little bit about the demo December. So I'm going to put this in the little spot on the corner while it's stitching. And we'll talk a little bit about demo December.
So yes, we are participating.
Yes, we will have 3 videos next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30. They will be
Eastern time.
Yes, they will be quick videos. They will be about 30 minutes, so it won't be like a big long one. And we will have kits available. Our kits you can see the pictures on our website. If you follow the event or the link from any of the videos coming next week, we have a fabric kit only, $8.95. We have a kit with a pillow blank for $17.95. And then, of course, the design will be free until December 31st. You will need to watch all 3 videos in order to have this special code.
So we will give you the first portion of the code on Monday, the second portion of the code on Wednesday, the last portion of the code on Friday, and then you can, of course, type that code in, and voila, you get your design for free. It will still be there if you can't watch live, so you don't have to worry about that, because we certainly understand that those timeframes aren't going to work for everyone. So they will be on both Facebook and YouTube, so you can just pop in and watch whichever works for you.
So the free design will be in stock on Friday. You can get the design if you purchase the kit. So if you want the kit starting as soon as those are put on in stock, you will be able to put that in your cart and you will automatically get that design starting probably tomorrow morning as soon as we just add the stock to those. So whether you get it with the pillow blank, and they're 8x8 pillow blanks, or
and in
without.
case none of you know, that is a discounted dollar amount for that pillow blank. So it's an 8x8, so it's a Bench Buddy size pillow. And if you purchase the 8x8 pillow with the kit, you are getting a discount rate on that pillow. So we tried to make it a little bit friendly there for you, so that you know you don't have to unstuff something else to make this guy and have him somewhere cute in your house too.
Yes, so those, like I said, will be available very, very soon. So I'm going to switch over to the other camera here. We have finished the first design, and we are taking the tape off of the top, and we are going to
pop that right out of the hoop.
Pop it out. And this is primarily how all of the border pieces that we do, when they're longer than essentially one hooping, we always butt them up in the same general idea. So if you've ever watched one of our border videos, this is not something special.
Nope. This is going to be, you can probably find something very similar to this 2 or 3 other times.
Yes.
The difference from this video from the other ones is, you know, in the original one, we taped everywhere, just like they said.
We were so careful.
We have found, okay, I can get away from doing this because this still works if I do this, that, or the other thing. So I am hooping my second piece of stabilizer, and I have way too much stuff underneath it. And I am going to pass that to Sarah. And what I need to do, this is off camera for a reason.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so this is my border. So I still have the excess down here. What I want to do is trim basically right at that batting line. So I can use straight scissors, or I can use the double curves, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But what I want to do is get right at that batting line because that is going to be what I need to line up with my next piece.
So notice she didn't cut the fabric.
Yes, so I've folded my fabric extension piece back over top of where I just stitched, and I'm trimming right at that edge.
I think
he got it.
Miranda's on her way.
Oh, that's nice. Yep.
10.
And then there is a little bit of play here, and I generally try to get underneath so that I don't have the entire amount of stabilizer in my seam, but you do not want to clip into the fabric. So you want to be a little bit careful. I generally, like I said, will fold that back so you can you guys see that? There's the fabric.
Yep.
So I generally fold that back, and then I got to move it a little bit. Sorry. Sometimes being on film doesn't always
Make it
easy to show you and do what I need to do. So I've got my fabric, and I'm down, and I'm literally tugging a little bit on the stabilizer so that it's pulling back at the seam. And there is all the way up at the top there, and then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. And I have one final cut on this end. And again, I do not want to cut the fabric, only the stabilizer. So all of that is trash. And I just have the batting and stabilizer where we stitched. Once we have that, we are going to put this into the hooping just like we had before. So back over to the machine, we have the stabilizer already in the hoop. All of the thread is still the same thing, and our design is exactly the same design as what we just stitched. Nothing is going to change. We should be back at color stop number 1. So the kits, Miss Connie, should be live tomorrow. If not in the morning, either late morning or early afternoon, they should be live.
Make them live right now.
Oh, she's making it live right now. So we have everything cut. They're just not packaged, and they definitely won't be shipped out until tomorrow. So, but she's putting them up on the website right now, Miss Connie. All right, so color stop number 1 is going to do the same thing because it's the same design. It's going to give me a placement line for my batting. What's the what?
Is the tag up there? Same price. It's They're live. You can officially buy them.
All right, once again, I'm going to completely cover that up and tack down my batting. So again, these first 2 steps are exactly so Mindy is asking, is there a way to pre-order the kit? So the kit is $8.95. So there isn't a pre-order button. It's not one of those things that we would have a deposit or anything on, as it's just a small piece. So not this time around.
They are live.
But you can click on those links that should be in your comments bar if you would like to claim one. We are making 48, I think. So, I mean, it shouldn't be like they're going to disappear and you have to decide today or you're going to run out. It's not going to be like that at all. We do still have, I just put my hand on is the only reason. We do still have kits if you wanted a last minute registration for vintage flora. We do still have kits for that.
And Pam asked, I do not have a picture of the demo December pillow, but if you follow that link or search for it on our website, you can definitely see the original version. And then I did post a picture of what our fabrics look like next
Do
to
we
it.
have the printout of the cut lice?
I don't know
somewhere?
where he put it.
All right. All right, so just like I did last time, I'm trimming the excess. If you don't mind wasting a little bit more batting, having these really skinny edges is kind of difficult because batting likes to just rip when you're trying to hold it.
Yep.
So it makes it really hard. So if you can stand to lose just a hair of batting and make these just a little wider, it will make your trimming a little bit easier. Unless you don't mind that stress of trying to not rip it in half, then, you know, more power to you.
So our demo December demos will be orange pop rulers for the first one. We'll have a sample of the design stitched out, and then we'll show you how to trim it up using the orange pop rulers. The second demo will be on the clear blue tiles. We're going to talk about how to quilt the borders using the clear blue tiles. And the third one will be about finishing up the pillow. So we're going to give some tips and tricks on how to do the binding, and I will show a demo of my favorite binding tool.
All right, so we are back at the machine. The batting has been trimmed.
We will send out, if you don't want to go and follow the link that has already been posted, you can, we will send out more information on the demo
absolutely.
December. So you're not late by any stretch of the
Nope,
machine.
we haven't sent anything out yet.
Any stretch of the machine, I said.
Any stretch of the
Yes,
machine, because
no.
they don't stretch.
Yes, they do not.
They really don't like to do that.
No.
All right, so the next color is going to show me where to place my fabric. So color stop number 3. And again, this is one of them I do not recommend you skip.
No.
But yeah, so we will send out an email that's literally just Demo December. We'll send a picture of the pillow, a link to the kits and that information, and the dates of when you can watch those demos to get all of the information and the design for free and what we'll be doing when.
Yes.
So, and that'll be out sometime this week.
Yes, but the kits are officially live. You can't get the free design until Friday, but you can get a kit which will have the free design. So if you don't want to have to listen to our spiel, you can purchase the kit only at $8.95 or the kit with the pillow for $17.95.
All right, so this is ready to have the previously stitched piece added to. So I'm going to go back over here so you can see a little bit easier what to do. So that's probably better.
Yeah, a little easier.
Hold that.
I will.
Okay, so we have this guy here, right? And we know exactly where we stopped stitching there. So what I need to do is have this butt right up against the batting at the top. So once again, just like when I was trimming, I'm going to fold all of my non-stitched fabric up and over the top of the piece that I already have stitched. And what I need to do is reveal that edge of the batting, because that is going to now bump right up into this edge of the batting. And so I literally want that right up against it, and I want to line up the edges of my fabric with the stitched line of the placement line. Oops, wrong way, sorry. Is that a little better? All right, so line those up, And then I want to put my hand so that doesn't shift, and I'm going to pick this goes up and over. So with that in place, I need to tape. So it never fails. My first piece of tape, I always want to reuse it, and it's never wide enough. So I need 2 pieces because I do not want that to move. So I get that one in position. And then I tape the second side down. So now that is not going to shift on me. I'm ready to take this back by tucking in. Holy crap, I got some frayed edges here. This fabric's been sitting over here for a week, and it's been moved. How many times, you think? All right, so just like we did before, I would highly recommend that you press all of that. So don't, if it looks like this, take it to your ironing board first. All right. All right. So now we're going to take this back to the machine. We don't want this to get wrapped underneath. So make sure that that is going up and over the other side. And I'm going to move that camera back so the next time I get back over there, it is out of the way.
Okay. So now we have the lineup of where we want our fabric to be. So we're, again, really just going to pay attention. We're going to go ahead and start that stitch.
Hi there.
I'm picking up the machine.
We'll be right with you. So I can't see that side, but I can see this side.
We're a little over, but that's okay. It'll work for today. It is all good. So again, this is where I would generally pet and kind of make sure that it's all smooth and as far right as possible.
All right, so now we are going to just do the quilting. So we're just gonna hit the start button and
Oh, never mind. All right, so this is going to do that same quilting stitch that we had. So this is going to work its way back up the hoop and work that center circle, and then we will, such an interesting way that quilting works, isn't it? In the directions that things go. And again, this is the orange peel quilting designs. So when you buy the Cuties, the quilting patterns are not included, just like the other pieces. When you buy a quilting pattern, it coordinates with a design pack, but they are not included with the design pack in the original purchase. You need to go to the Kimberbell.com if you would like those designs and purchase those separately. We would love for you to use our affiliate link and go through the affiliate link to make that purchase. If you do go to the site and get that download, that would certainly help us out, and we would always greatly appreciate that. So that would complete the second stitch. So I certainly have enough for one more, and then I could stitch even a fourth one that would come down here. I'm not sure that it would benefit me a whole lot to do that based on the measurements. So depending upon where you're going to then place this, measure out, you know, how many cuts do I then need to make? Because if I have 3 sections of these 12-inch pieces stitched and I need 3 12-inch cuts, I probably don't need to do another hooping on this strip because that last piece would not be large enough. So you would just need to cut an additional strip and stitch and then cut after you've quilted. Again, do not cut those pieces until you've quilted them because they will absolutely shrink up on you. I was able to make these pieces here on the outside work. So these pieces I was able, let's see if I can get that a little bit wider. So these pieces that go into a corner block, I was able to get just a little bit of stabilizer in my seam allowance and make those work. But these pieces in here, I was not able to. So the large pieces on this side, so you're going to start with 2 shorter pieces here, and then each of these sides are an inch longer. So this piece is a 2-inch longer piece than these pieces. And I ended up using the pieces that were originally cut for this here because they were that much shorter than my original pieces were supposed to be. So I actually don't have any quilting. I'll hold that up to the camera so you guys can see a little bit better. I actually don't have any quilting on those longer sides. I will get there before I put everything together. But I'm just going to do some top quilting of some sort. I haven't decided exactly what. But there was absolutely no way I could fit those. There was no stretching enough to make those work. I would have ended up with a very skewed piece and a lot of puckering. So, and thank you, Miss Cindy. I appreciate it. I'm really happy with my color choices too. I stitched this at home in case any of you were not here last week. So those are not all part of the kit. I did match where I could, but I did not have everything at home that was in the kit. So this is a little bit of my mind, not necessarily what was in the Kimberbell kit itself. So this background color here and this color here are from the Kimberbell kit. So if you purchase our fabric kit, you would get those for that. This is a little bit different. It's a little bit more of an ivory color, which I have to say I like a little bit. You can see the snowman just a little bit more because it's not as white on white. And teal is one of my favorite colors, so I have a lot of teal things. So it was really easy to pull some teal in there. So, but thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm really happy with how that came out. I haven't had a chance to go back and finish the backing and the binding, but my binding is this fabric as well, just like in the kit. So it will get there. I just need to, find some time, which is, really scarce right now. So all of the Cuties steps are things that we've done before. You've got the squares, which again, you're going to choose whichever pattern that you like, and that is going to be completed 4 times for each of these. On the deck of cards, each of your points here and all on each side is going to match up with the points of the balancing side next to it. And that will then make for a center square in the middle here. You can see that on the Lazy Daisy, I have matching points here and here. That's how that is. One more time, in case you missed it last week, when you are attaching your corner blocks, it's going to have you attach 2 sides and then the opposing 2 sides. Do not trim those first 2 sides. Wait until you get all 4 on before you trim. And that's going to help you trim out that corner and have enough fabric to really make that really easy. So make sure you don't pre-trim the first 2 sides when you are sewing those on. Otherwise, you're going to have to fudge a little bit, and nobody likes to fudge, in case you didn't already know not to do that. So can I show the Kimberbell kit I have at the store? I am not sure if I have anything in stock, but if you can hold on for a second, I can see if I can find one. It looks exactly like the kit that we made for that is exactly like the picture in the design pack. But give me 1 second and I will be right back.
All this stuff is getting done in hoops today, in embroidery. So if you were to call that Kimberbell, and then you would call that vintage boardwalk, when you buy this program, it comes in a multi-format option, which means for every brand of embroidery machine out there, so you're gonna have a 6-file extension you won't even use. So you're only gonna use 1 file extension for your
I don't need you to bring it to me. I just wanted to know how much you wanted.
Okay, sorry about that. So the
it gets there quickly. This
all right, so
Already back here, so
January is this little guy here. I'm going to hold that up to the camera there for you. So the kit will look exactly like that one. So we've got the blue stripes on the outside border, the green corner blocks, and then there's a red fabric for the hat. And the rest of that is pretty close to what I have. The white edges here is the white on white snowflake fabric. And then you have all different, the white on whites in here, which one of what I have here is the same. So this white with the blue dots is one of those. These other two I pulled from my stash. So the other white on whites are Kimberbell fabrics as well, and that is what's in the kit. Like I said, mine are just a little bit different from what I pulled from my own stash at home. So that is what we have for you. Highly recommend that you use width of fabric strips and quilt them, then cut them down for your borders. And again, you are most welcome, Cindy. The fabric kits we have sold out of a couple of times, and you'll see if it says sold out. We are working. We've got things on order, and we've been cutting to replace all of those. So we are. Great question, Pam. Yes, you can absolutely get rid of the bulk of your mesh. So when I say don't trim the corners, let me clarify that. It's a great question. So this is what the question is. So Pam says, when I say not to trim the triangle, should I trim the poly mesh off? Also, I used the 8x12 design, will they fit? So yes is that answer to will they fit, because I actually used the 8x12 at home just because I didn't have a 9x14 and I didn't really feel like using my big monster hoop and wasting all that stabilizer. So I actually used an 8x12 when I was making the January one as well. So yes, you should trim off the poly mesh, and yes, you should have absolutely no problems using the 8x12 hoop. So let me show you what I mean by that trimming process. When you are getting this ready to go and sewing that on, when you finish with the triangles, you are going to trim them down. I don't mean to say that you shouldn't trim them down, but when you add everything together, so at the back of the book is the sewing, putting everything back together. So you're going to trim your block, and you're basically going to be trimming mostly right on that quilting line if you have one. But it does show you you're going to be trimming to 5.5 by 5.5. So not only are you going to be trimming your excess stabilizer, you're going to be trimming off the excess fabric as well. So you only have the 5.5 by 5.5. When you get to the triangles, you are going to trim using the rotary cutter. You're going to trim along those guidelines. So the guidelines are basically, again, your stitch line when you're quilting. So you're going to be getting rid of all of the excess fabric and the excess stabilizer that is out here. So you're going to have a point here. So we talked about there's not a point at the edge here. You can leave that point there. You're going to cut and cut here. So you'll have a little bit of an angle here. The 8x12, it just comes back a little bit farther. But again, just cut all the way out, not on that line. You're going to just cut straight out on this line here and straight up on the angle here. So you'll end up with a point out there regardless. So cut straight across here and then straight up on these points here. So you'll have 4 without all of the excess. So you'll be removing all of your excess stabilizer and your excess fabric from the outside of your quilting lines. If you are not pre-quilting, there is a stitch that's going to give you an alignment. There's a line here, and a line here. That is what you would line up your ruler with if you are not pre-quilting, and that would be your cut line then, as it states here. So that is what you will be doing. So you'll have 4 that are trimmed down into these triangles. So what you're going to do is once you have this block that is signified by the gray here, you're going to find the center point of the block and mark it, literally with a chalk pen, a water soluble, whatever floats your boat, doesn't matter what. So when you go to attach the triangle into your center block, I'm so sorry, excuse me. What you're going to want to do is mark the center and then take your triangle and find the center of it. And that is, actually, you're going to want to go this way. So find the center, and that is going to be then at that mark, and then you'll open that up. And that is where you will sew there. And then when you fold that out and press, do not trim that excess off. That's what I meant by not trimming once you have these 2 sides sewn on. Don't get rid of the excess on each of those sides. So one more time, when you go to sew your corner blocks onto your center square, find the center of this and mark it. Take your trimmed triangle and then fold that in half, lining up, making sure that you find the center here. Then line up your center mark and open that up, and then this is going to be where you sew. And then you'll have the same amount of excess on each side. When you go to press that open, you will have excess. You'll see that you'll have excess on each side of your center block. Do not trim off the excess from the center block. All right, that is what I meant by do not trim your center blocks. So once you get each side done, then you're going to work the opposing side. So you're going to do the right and the left, press those open, and then you're going to do the top and the bottom. Do not trim the excess until you have all 4 sides. Then you may trim and get everything balanced out and ready to put on the external border. Okay? It's a great question. I'm glad you asked it because I'm sure someone else didn't know exactly what I meant either, and I apologize. I should have been a little clearer on that. So thank you for asking. Is there any other questions that anybody has? All right, so these definitely are a lot easier than the originals because everything has the capability of being done in the hoop. So I have made the original volume 1 Cuties, which only the corner blocks had the embroidery. So we were completely quilting the centers with traditional quilting, as in doing some sort of piecing for the center square and then adding our triangles, our corner blocks to the side, and then sashing and whatnot on that. So these are definitely way more simplified. but there's still a lot of steps. So you definitely have some steps that are going in here, but they are absolutely adorable. I can't wait to see what they come out with for the final steps of the last 6 months for the year. I am super excited to see what's going to be coming because I absolutely love what they did for the first 6. So I was kind of hoping Sarah was going to pop back in, but the store's gotten a little bit crazy. Can you see Sarah?
No.
Okay. So Sarah is not visible even over here. So I guess we are going to say goodbye for this time. We will be live again tomorrow morning at 9:30. We'll be doing November's Digital Dealer, which is a very adorable mug rug. If you do any sort of board games or card games and things like that with your family, these are great little guys to have with your game in your game closet or whatnot. So when you get out all of the games, you have mug rugs ready and able to be used right there so that you don't get any drink rings as you are doing all of that fun stuff. So we will be doing it. It says this is how we roll with dice on the mug rug, and we will be doing that one more time, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. And hopefully you can join us. We are very excited because that one's really, really cute. We play dice in my family, so I'm super excited that I have a new mug rug that fits perfectly into my family. So very, very excited. Since there's no more questions that have popped up, and evidently Sarah's left me hanging, and all of you too, we're going to say goodbye. So thank you so much for spending the hour with me. And if you guys come up with other questions, please feel free, you know how to find us. Either give us a call or shoot us an email, and we are more than happy to help you out. The Cuties, we have quite a few more kits already ready. We are waiting on a couple things to complete them all. You can buy them as a bundle of all 6 fabric kits, or you can pick and choose the individuals if you would like to. So we will have those all back up and ready as soon as possible. And thanks again for stopping in. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next time. And I just have to hope I can find all the buttons because Sarah does this normally. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time.